This is a special edition of WeatherScope with the latest winter storm update.
Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Jill Brown here on the Weather Channel Forecast Center talking about more nasty winter weather. The latest winter storm is now clobbering Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York, and that heavy snow has moved into Boston, and that's where we're going today. But first off, we want to show you the setup. Here it is, an area of low pressure just off the coast, and a band of some heavy snow that has now moved into the Boston area. It is stretching all the way back through D.C. and even down into North Carolina. Now you notice also that we have a little bit of orange on the map here, some off the coast in the northeast, some around poor old Norfolk, Virginia, where we've had sleet now for hours, but we are getting mainly snow at this point. We want to go ahead and take you up to Boston. Our own Bill Keneally has been standing by as the snow has been piling up. Bill, the official report now out of Boston is 2 inches of snow. We still have heavy snow reported, and that's just how it looks. How's it feeling out there?
I tell you what, Joe, we're making up for lost time in a hurry. The snow began about 5 after 1, and you said 2 inches. I'll give it 3 out here. We're about 3 miles to the northwest of Logan International Airport. We are on the bridge between Charlestown and downtown Boston. As you can see, the roadway now has gotten snow covered, and the roadways are just all snarled up all across the area. I'm looking northbound, all I see are red tail lights. I'm looking southbound, all I see are red tail lights as well, so it's a real mess. This is not a major road. The interstate itself, Interstate 93, off to my left, is all tied up. It is not moving right now, southbound. Northbound, it is crawling. That is up on the bridge. I'm sure that froze up earlier than the primary road surface. A lot of folks are trying to get to Logan Airport. Good luck. We've had a report now that one of the runways is still open, but there are major delays. Your best bet, again, to call ahead. It is a long holiday weekend. You'll get there. Maybe the bewitching hour, but you'll get there.
Well, Bill, as we are approaching rush hour, which I'm guessing is starting a little bit early today,
yes,
has traffic seemed to be picking up somewhat?
Oh, definitely picking up a lot, Jill. Earlier today, we had sunshine through about 11:30, and I think a lot of folks got a false sense of security. They were lulled into the delayed arrival of our storm, and because of that, we had a late rush hour this morning. It picked up between about 8:30 and 9:30. Hopefully these folks got out of town early enough today, but a lot of them, as you can see, have not. You had mentioned earlier how Baltimore broke their season record. Tell you what, Boston is not that far behind. For the year, we've had about 76 inches going into today, the all-time record about 97 or 98, and we've had upwards of 3 already.
Alrighty, Bill, we're getting closer to that record, and we'll be checking back with you as the snow continues to pile up. We do have record snowfall in a couple locations, not just Baltimore, but also Lynchburg. Let's go ahead and take a look. First off at some of our snowfall totals around the region. So we'll take you to Baltimore. They have had now 53.1 inches of snow. Look at this, those big flakes that really accumulate quickly, and they have ended up with 8 inches at last check. It is still snowing, however, and you can see there on the top of our list, 8 inches there, 8 inches of new snow at Lynchburg. At Dulles, 7 inches. In Central Park, now 5. And in Boston, we're going to update that. It was 1 inch. It's just gone up to 2 inches. Now, we have had 2 cities break their seasonal snowfall. 95, 96 is going to be a busy winter, and we have several that are very close to that. As Bill had mentioned, Boston's getting close, so is Providence. So, again, we want to warn you that more heavy snow is on the way, but we think in places like Georgia that we probably have seen the worst of it. In Paulding County, Georgia, the snow came down to the deep south. They ended up with 2 or 3 inches. There are some happy kids heading home from school early because of the snow. And this was northwest of Atlanta where the snow was heaviest. Even there, it's pretty showery at this point. And while we may see a few flurries left and the roadways are wet, we're going to have to watch out for some icy patches, bridges and overpasses, especially overnight tonight as the temperature begins to drop. Right now, most of the south is at or close to the freezing point after such warm weather recently. Some big changes. Alrighty, here's our band of heaviest snow. You can see it with the dark green, stretching right about down through here. So that encompasses most of the big cities. Boston, heavy snow. Hartford's beginning heavy snow. New York City as well, as we mentioned, 5 inches on the ground. In Philadelphia, it's still continuing to be heavy. In Baltimore, well, we've hit our record, but that's not going to stop it. There's still more on the way. But you can see back behind our main band, around Charleston, we are getting a little bit of snow. It's not going to be such a big deal there. Away from that main band, which comes down to about Raleigh, basically what we have are scattered snow showers. Anywhere from Knoxville, Tennessee, still a light snow in Atlanta down through Columbia. We don't expect to see much in the way of accumulation that far to the south. This is what we have had. This is our snow history. An inch or 2, the heaviest from central Virginia into Maryland. And now we're getting reports out of Connecticut. We had someone call in and tell us that northwestern Connecticut has 4 to 6 inches of snow, I believe, and more to come, so we'll continue to add to this. This is our forecast. Where you see the light gray on the map, we could be talking about 6 to 12 inches of snow before this one moves out. And by the way, it's not going to last long, so if you have plans for the holiday weekend and you're having a little bit of trouble getting on the roadway.
And of course, meaning 6 to 12 inch
local forecast. Accurate, up-to-date weather information for your neighborhood. Only on the Weather Channel.
And fun stuff, not what we're experiencing today. Unfortunately, we're still a few months away from that. So until then, try to stay warm, stay dry, and drive carefully. Reporting live on the action cam from
Are going to make that record or not?
Well, we're only 3 inches shy of it right now, Jim, and spring does not arrive until the 20th of March, so usually in March we get a pretty good shot of what we're getting right now, so I think we're going to shatter it, and this winter will probably go in the record books as the snowiest ever. You can see the problem here on City Line Avenue, despite the fact that the storm started early in the day, and then we had indications it was just exploding with snow totals increasing, it seemed almost by the hour. People trying to leave work a little bit earlier, but still, it's a traffic nightmare. Seems to be moving. One thing now, the snow is a very, very wet snow, and temperatures are dropping. The winds are kicking in because cold air is the next problem. So it looks slushy, but in many areas it's just kind of starting to ice over a little bit. So it's deceptive to those people driving. So the official word, of course, is that a winter storm warning remains posted for the area right through tonight. Let's go to Action Radar and take a look at the system, and we'll show you what we're talking about. It's a system that we've been tracking now for several days, it seems, waiting for two systems to get together, and boy, did they get together. There's the movement up the coast. You see it extends all the way from the Carolinas and right up into New England. Now we'll change that over to you, and you see a huge snow area, and it also indicates to us that we are a little ways from being out of the system. Look at that changeover. The snow goes all the way down into the Carolinas, right up the coast. It is moving just about due north right now, right over us, and it just extends all the way up into New England. So it's going to be a while before we're out of this. The indications from AccuWeather are that it'll probably be about 10, 11 o'clock tonight before this lets up a little bit in terms of some just flurry activity, and then maybe about midnight or 2 in the morning before it's finally out of here. We've got some snow totals. The last total that we had from Philadelphia was a little bit over 4 inches. I think it was 4.3 inches in terms of totals. There we go. Philadelphia 4.3, Swedesboro, see the heavier stuff down in the Jersey Shore, over 6 inches. 6 inches there. Atlantic City at the airport 2.3, although Joe Torres mentioned on the boardwalk, they had 5 inches of snow easily there. The AC airport, of course, that's in Pomona. Wilmington 3 inches, Allentown 1 inch. Harrisburg has little or no snow out of this system thus far today, so you can see those people to the west getting little or nothing. We're getting pounded right here in the immediate Philadelphia, in the corridor up and down, and then of course along the shore we continue to get it. So we expect it to start to taper off later on tonight. The snow is just going to continue. And then the next thing we have to be concerned about is very dangerous wind chills coming in here. By tonight, temperatures will continue to tumble, Jim. We're going to get down to about 20 degrees, but the wind chill overnight, about midnight, through the early morning hours, could get as low as -10 for the wind chill, and then a very cold weekend coming up. So winter continues to roar here in the tri-state area. That's the latest for now, Jim.
Thank you, David. David mentioned that the Pennsylvania State Capitol right now live. Nora, can you give us a description of the situation as we see it?
Jim, what I want to know is if it rains cats and dogs, what's the equivalent when it's snowing out? Because that's what it's like right now. We're getting a face full of weather. We're outside the train station in Trenton right now where rush hour is in full tilt, and so is the snowstorm. It's been blowing and snowing like crazy for the last hour. I want to show you something right now. Let's take a look at those flags up there that you see behind me. They're calm right now. Actually, in the last hour, they've been standing straight out, just to give you an idea of how stiff the winds are. They've really been kicking up, and if you're facing it, it's bad news. Now, just below that, if you can look below there, one of the bus stops, the New Jersey Transit bus stops. As I said, this is a hub in the Trenton area. New Jersey Transit put extra buses and trains on this afternoon to handle the early rush hour, and things are moving right now, as far as we can tell, without much of a problem. However, things are not moving so smoothly here at the train station. We've got, I think I can hear some folks screaming a little bit, trying to get the traffic moving here. Folks are dropping people off, picking people up, and you know how it goes. Everybody gets a little short-tempered. I think that's what's going on right now, and you can see the snow against the dark building. It's just really, really coming down. Now, one thing I want to tell you, and that some folks may not know, if you're driving in the snow in New Jersey right now, can you come over this way with me, Andy? There's a new law, and that if it's light out, but it's snowing or raining, you are obligated by law to have your headlights on. A lot of people don't put them on when it's still daylight out, but in this storm, in some areas, there are almost whiteouts, and it's really tough to see. So you need to have those headlights on. If you're listening in the car radio, if you're watching at home, you will be driving. Make sure you do that when it's still light out. So, Jim, it's coming down like crazy here. It doesn't look like it's ready to stop, and I'm miserable. How about you?
I feel just a little bit guilty sitting in this warm and rather dry studio.
Oh, yeah,
Nora.
yeah.
No, I do. But I'd rather be here than there.
Of snow. In Cherry Hill, 8 inches, Wynwood, 6 inches, and Wilmington, Delaware, 5 inches of snow. Officially at Philadelphia International Airport, 4.3 inches, which means, as we've been mentioning, only about 3 inches to go.
Suggest that some things to do inside, but the Jersey Shore has actually been hit harder than has the immediate Philadelphia area. About 5 to 5.5 inches of snow on the boardwalk, a couple of 100 yards away from the ocean. And as we have seen and as we have heard described by Dave Roberts and Cecily, this is one of those storms that has actually hit the Jersey Shore harder than points north and west.